Tomorrow, 115 cardinals begin the sanctified and secret process of electing the next pope. Pope Francis seems to have embraced an unknown figure who could reshape the future of the Catholic Church. His close association with Cardinal Luis Tagle has often sparked interest and, at times, controversy. I welcome you to our country, to the city of Manila, and to the Cathedral Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. And now the Pope has finally made the decision to expose Cardinal Luis Tagle. Why has Pope Francis chosen to disclose this at this time? How will this alter the Church's power on the international stage? Join us as we deeply dive into how Pope Francis told the public the truth about Cardinal Luis Tagle. The relationship between Pope Francis and Cardinal Luis Tagle involves complex loyalty rooted firmly in shared ideologies, mutual admiration, and pursuing an innovative course for the Catholic Church. Cardinal Tagle inspires the same values as the Pope. He is simple, hospitable, and acutely sensitive to the people's needs. Since the beginning of his papacy, Francis has envisioned a church for the poor, and what Tagle did in Manila before becoming a cardinal embodies the message that he wanted to bring to the lowly, touching the lives of simple folks. The Pope, heavily influenced by Tagle, firmly believes in the power of the clergyman not only in delivering motivational speeches. Their relationship reflects a common vision of coming up with a church that remains relevant in times of adversity. This partnership rose to operational heights when Tagle was named prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples in 2019. Pope Francis has appointed Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle the new head of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples. This position, often referred to as the Red Pope, comes with significant power, including authority over missionary activity across continents. When assigning Tagle to this critical position, Pope Francis hinted at entrusting him with the further development of Catholic evangelization, especially in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, continents that will form the future of the Catholic Church. Their relationship is not only work-related. What Tagle reveres certainly aligns with Francis's advocacy. Both leaders emphasize compassion over doctrine, conversation instead of polarization, and action over rhetoric. Their common experience dealing with hostile reactions from traditionalist factions has strengthened their shared vision of a church of love. The humility and humanity inherent in Tagle's leadership style closely mirror Pope Francis's ideals. For example, during Typhoon Haiyan in 2013, Tagle's quick response and compassion during the calamity gave him the impression of being a leader of the Church of Mercy, as Francis had recommended. Beyond his charity activities, Tagle's theological competence, particularly his inclusive evangelization, has made him a role model for liberal Catholics worldwide. As Pope Francis has repeatedly stated, leadership within the Church cannot remain clericalized but must serve as a sign of outreach to the forgotten and forsaken. Recently, Pope Francis made comments that again raised questions regarding Tagle's position within the Vatican structure. Although the Pope has not directly stated his long-term vision for the Cardinal, the work they are doing appears to be part of a pre-planned path. Is Tagle's trajectory evidence of a potential shift toward change? From Manila to the global stage, Cardinal Luis Tagle, who rose from the streets of Manila to the hallways of the Vatican, serves as an inspiring figure of purposeful living. Born in 1957 in the Philippines, Tagle's life has been deeply rooted in his community and dedication to the poor. Blessed with extraordinary intellect and a compassionate soul from childhood, Tagle decided to study theology and became one of the leading figures in the Catholic Church. His leadership journey began in earnest when he was appointed Archbishop of Manila in 2011. Overseas Filipino workers praised the appointment of Archbishop Luis Antonio Tagle as cardinal. A priest remarked that Tagle's new role would be challenging, as he assumed leadership of one of the largest Catholic dioceses globally. Tagle quickly became known as a reformist. He did not succumb to the materialism and greed typical of past rulers. Instead, he prioritized care for the Church and its people, missionary work, and a passion for justice. His sermons, touching and heartwarming, resonated with millions, earning him the nickname Asia's Francis. Tagle's ascent to international fame came through several promotions, revealing his growing influence within the Vatican. As president of Caritas Internationalis, a Catholic charity organization operating in 165 countries, Tagle supported campaigns against poverty, hunger, and climate change. His ability to bridge communication across cultures and ideologies positioned him as a leader in the Church's evangelization efforts. Tagle's appointment as prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples in 2019 marked a turning point. This role placed him at the center of the Church's mission to spread the gospel worldwide. Tagle's deep appreciation for cultural differences and his active role in reorganizing the Church's evangelization strategies in non-Western countries, including Asia and Africa, further cemented his influence. But what does such popularity signify? The answer lies in his ability to mobilize and lead effectively. These diplomatic skills, combined with his theological depth, have made Tagle a prominent figure capable of addressing the Church's complexities. As Tagle's influence at the Vatican grows, speculation about his future position increases. Could he become even more involved or possibly emerge as a candidate for the next pope? If so, what would a church under Tagle's leadership look like? In this new phase of the Catholic Church under Pope Francis's guidance, the Church has shifted its focus toward those at the margins. Often referred to as a church for the poor, this vision has been greatly supported by Cardinal Luis Tagle. Together, they are called to advocate for justice, kindness, and love. Compassion to society notwithstanding their ability to significantly alter the social relations of the Church, these can be demonstrated by Pope Francis's focus on the margins. He believes that the Church occupies the periphery as the sanctuary of the outcasts. As the president of Caritas Internationalis, he has overseen anti-hunger campaigns, provided shelter to refugees, and confronted the challenges of climate change. That, coupled with his capacity to negotiate for resources and coax individuals into action, has established him as a key player in the Church's charity portfolios. Listening is one of the most important practices that President Tagle often underlines during his work. If you listen, you dispose yourself to love, and those who love will not get tired of listening. Contrary to more conventional models of vertical power dynamics, Tagle values conversation and actively seeks to listen to, especially, the voices on the peripheries. Nevertheless, the concentration on the margins is not without problems. Some church critics have pointed out that when its message is presented to society in such a manner, it is likely that the social causes will triumph over the Church's doctrines. Critics of the Church have accused Pope Francis and his supporters of derailing traditional Catholic values by focusing so much on political correctness. Nevertheless, Pope Francis and Cardinal Tagle have stood their ground because they know that if the Church does not address these and many other current issues, it will become irrelevant. In addition to humanitarian activities, Tagle is in a position to help spread the Pope's vision forward. His efforts to advance interfaith relations make clear that the Church is determined to foster positive relations in an increasingly divided world. Discussing religious concerns with people of other faiths can promote tolerance and unity, which is why Tagle reflects Pope Francis's main message. Through the visions of Pope Francis and Cardinal Tagle, attempts are made to bring the Church into more direct contact with people, and in a certain way, modern Catholicism is being built before our eyes. Could this focus on the margins assign a new understanding of the Church's mission in the context of rapid change? A silent tug-of-war behind the pious faces and the appearance of togetherness, a power struggle, has always nurtured the Roman Catholic Church's authority. In the context of the Vatican, a place at the crossroads of tradition and postmodern culture, such struggles are expressed in terms of ideologies. The daily battles between reformists like Pope Francis, Cardinal Tagle, and the conservatives provide a fascinating drama of unspoken struggles. Pope Francis has brought a further reformative change in his papacy by rebuking clericalism, calling for a more decentralized church, and speaking out on sensitive matters like migration, climate change, and economic transparency. Issuing a stark warning, the head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican city-state has said that the earth will become uninhabitable if there is no concrete action taken on climate change. Nevertheless, these efforts have met with formidable challenges. Some of the ultra-conservative parties and groups within the Church of Rome have been complaining loudly about this shift, and others as a radical departure from the Word of God, the Bible. Cardinal Tagle's active role in the Vatican signifies this particular aspect of the power struggle. While he fits into Pope Francis's vision of the Church as merciful and focused on the peripheries, Tagle's ascent has not met everyone's approval. Unfortunately, his sensible management style and orientation on dialogue and participation contradict more conventional views regarding Catholic theology. This has led to raised expectations and questions about the possible hurdles the head of the Church might encounter. Financial supervision has been one of the most significant fields involved in this power struggle. Cleaning up the Vatican's financial institutions has been initiated by Pope Francis, raising a lot of controversy. Being part of the management that handles charitable activities, Tagle will support the reform initiatives given that he has been pushing for more and better disclosure. However, this has also put him against some people with interests to protect, that is, the entrenched power groups. Succession adds a more complex layer to these dynamics. Although Pope Francis has not hinted at his successor, the increasing visibility of Tagle among other figures gives cause for consideration as to what kind of future the Church will be leaning towards. The conservatives might want to retain or promote candidates they believe would not perpetuate the framework's reform as Pope Francis did. The behind-the-scenes power struggle captures the confrontation that defines who must lead the future of the Church. These power struggles are not exclusive to the Vatican. They extend to dioceses in every country, affecting how leaders handle matters in the world. Many traditionalist elements remain operative, but the reform showing the increased division between unity and traditional Catholicism has become the hallmark of this age in the Catholic Church. How are these dynamics likely to impact the Church in its quest to overcome the tasks of the 21st century? What part do leaders such as Cardinal Tagle have to offer in these transitions? A visionary amid turmoil, Cardinal Luis Tagle's journey in the Catholic Church is not over yet. Yet this young cardinal has made a unique impact on Catholicism. On the side of the poor and marginalized, a defender of human rights, respecting immigrants, and a champion of the oppressed in his country, Tagle is seen as a hope for progressive Catholics worldwide. However, he is exercising this power while overstretching the institution with deep-seated internal and external struggles. Today, engaging with people is one of Tagle's strengths, making him friendly with people from all walks of life. Whether preaching to a gathering of followers in Manila or as a papal representative, Tagle is humble and easily connects with followers. Most people have been missing the shepherd's leadership style that he often preached, instead of the rigid institutionalist approach that dominates the Church. By celebrating an open and moving religion, Tagle has portrayed himself as a revolutionary in the new Catholic Church. However, this legacy is being built in the face of considerable volatility. While the Church's priests and other representatives continue to decrease in number and influence in Europe and North America, the number of the faithful in Asia and Africa is growing. Steadily rising, this demographic shift is both a strength and a weakness in that it empowers but also complicates the task of serving. Having a vast and heterogeneous congregation, Tagle, of course, has cultural sensitivity. Being a non-Westerner himself, he is well known within the non-Western cultures and can thus be said to be well placed to undertake this. Another characteristic feature in the process guide attributed to Tagle is the combination of tradition and the trend of recent decades. The roles he has embraced include interfaith dialogue and climate change. It is good that in the conference in Paris on climate change, the principles of fairness and equity would surface and would play a great role. Social justice and issues have shown a man ready to work with modernity, but this has also met some criticisms. Conservatives in the Church have accused him of straying from doctrinal matters, a sign of the conflicts that characterize this period of Catholic authority. How Tagle will have been able to meet these competing demands will define his legacy in the future. With the developments still occurring within the Catholic Church, the issue of leadership rears its head. It means the good work that has begun under Pope Francis needs to be sustained by other leaders who will serve the organization in the future. Tagle's influence within the Vatican and loyalty to Francis make him possibly the one to influence the future of the Catholic Church. But will his vision have an audience in such a vast and usually polarized flock of Roman Catholics worldwide? Much has been said about Cardinal Tagle's footprints, which, however, are still under construction. For him, the challenges are quite profound because he leads within an institution that has conventions, requirements, in an environment changing at the same time as the world, yet has to maintain orderliness. His ability to create hope, to become a driving force, to unite people will define him. Can his stewardship herald the new Catholic Church, one of healing, welcome, and revival? Tagle's prominent rival for the papal throne is Cardinal Pietro Parolin. Out of the various names that have been assumed to be in the line for succession to Pope Francis, one of the most effective contenders is Cardinal Pietro Parolin, who is seen as a strong contender to Cardinal Luis Tagle. Parolin serves as the Vatican Secretary of State, a top-posted official who oversees the diplomacy and organization of the Vatican. Apart from being a cardinal, he has had wide exposure, placing him as a frontliner to the papal chair. Unlike Tagle, who is more of a pastoral bent of mind and is a reformist, before joining the Senate of Bishops, Parolin gained prominent experience in diplomacy and was best known for his conservative views. He is from Italy, implying that he is from the Catholic Church's fundamental core. Facing problems of modern societal changes, he has gained respect among the traditionalists because of his work as the Secretary of State and his ability to shape the Church through its complex geopolitical relations and retain influence worldwide. While Tagle is believed to be closer to the peripheries, Parolin is viewed as a mastermind who knows how to deal with the Church hierarchy. Another characteristic is that he has been arranging and mediating various cliques in the Church from the time he came into power. Being a bridge builder, he has tried his best to address not only the issues of one side but also of the other side, especially taking a middle-of-the-road approach in issues of controversy. This ability to work the internal politics has endeared him to those who prefer gradual changes to drastic ones. However, opponents claim that his ideas are not creative enough to meet the challenges the Church faces today in the era of global transformations. This conflict between Tagle and Parolin can be considered a reflection of the contradictions in the modern Church. While Tagle underlines the postmodern vectors of leadership, forward-looking inclusion, compassionate action, and people-centered orientation, Parolin reflects the traditional and diplomatic sensibilities typical of the Vatican administration. For many people, these discrepancies are permissive of fundamental questions regarding the direction of the Church in the future and what kind of leader is most desirable for it. At the moment, Parolin's high profile also indicates the continued dominance of Italian clergy within the Vatican bureaucracy. The papacy has always been headed by Europeans, mostly Italians. This has been the case for centuries. This can be seen in the fact that, while the election of Pope Francis has been nonconformist to this tradition, Parolin's candidacy seemingly points to a reversal of this trend. This condition throws another twist into the whole issue of succession, which underlines the continuity of tradition versus New Age within the Church. Though they are from different institutions, both Tagle and Parolin are passionate about the Church's work. Nonetheless, work has pointed out how their different methods depict the odds of selecting the next pope. Which way will the Church choose, more contact with common people and their initiatives, or a continuation of the established clerical hierarchy? The answer to this question will determine the Catholic Church's future for the next few decades. Since the speculation about Pope Francis's successor has been making rounds around the media, the competition that exists between Tagle and Parolin offers an insight into the struggles the Church is going through. How this contest plays out, the leadership of the Church will not only define but also its capacity to steer through a world that is constantly becoming more polarized and complex. What do you think of Cardinal Tagle as the new pope? And also, who do you think is most likely to get on the papal throne? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen, you will enjoy it.